There are mobile games that live rent-free in our heads, and others that we've completely forgotten, and honestly, sometimes for the better. Today, we're diving back into the past for a quick tour of the best mobile games of our childhood. Expect a massive dose of nostalgia, get ready, it's gonna feel good. Let me know in the comments which game I missed, and let's get straight into it with... Okay, let's start with a very specific category, what I like to call the toilet sessions. You know the vibe. We had Flappy Bird, obviously, Fruit Ninja, Hill Climb Racing, that game's for absolute morons by the way, or even any of the Piano Tiles games. And then I would add most of the .io games. You know, those mere games you only play every 6 months. And finally, of course, any games from these three companies. I'm sure you guys definitely know them. Though I did have a soft spot for Ball Blast. That game was way too satisfying, I'm not even sorry. And as a subcategory of the toilet sessions, I put the runners. I'm giving them their own spot because some of them were actually top tier. You know exactly what kind of games I'm talking about. Subway Surfers, Temple Run, Minion Rush, or my personal favorite, Running Fred. The art style and the atmosphere of that game were insane. It actually kinda scared me when I was a kid. But we can't forget the 2D ones too, which were honestly better than the B&V ones. I vividly remember Mirror's Edge Mobile, Oggy and the Cockroaches, and Running Crowd. These games were freaking amazing, but sadly I think they don't exist anymore. And how can we talk about this genre of game without mentioning the GOAT? Just the music alone gives you a massive smile. Damn it, I think I'm gonna have to reinstall it. Okay, now we're moving into the mature guy territory. The type of game where you manage cities, lead armies, and stack as much cash as possible. You're probably thinking of Supercell's game right away, Clash of Clans, Heyday, Boom Beach, but come on, those are way too mainstream. I want to talk about the real underrated bangers, like Dragon Mania Legends for example. The dragon's designs, the combat, everything was way too good. And by the way, it's way better than that Fruit Dragon City. There was also Jurassic Park Builder. It was awesome for dino nerds like me, but it had one big flaw, which was that terrifying notification sound, especially in the middle of the night when you left your tablet on and were not expecting that. I'm also thinking of PewDiePie's Tuber Simulator, but I didn't understand a word of English back then. And then I would add Cooking Fever, the game where you cook burger for ungrateful customers for pennies. Wait, that's literally what I do in real life. Anyway, finally, since I mentioned games where you accumulate wealth, I have to talk about the idle games. Those dumb capitalistic games where you have to click like a maniac until your fingers hurts, just so you can buy upgrades so you can click even more. But to be fair, some idle games were actually fun. I'm thinking of Make More, Virtual Beggar, or any of the Cody Games titles, which were way too satisfying. Okay, enough messing around. The games in this category were built different. We're talking about puzzle games and brain teasers. You know the ones, Brain It On, Bacon the Game, Happy Glass, World the Ball, but that's just the start. There were also all of the escape room type of games, like the most well-known The Room. Those were serious business. Impossible for me to finish them without hints, or maybe I was just too dumb, but whatever. I think we can also mention the Bridge Builders games. There were tons of them, they all look the same, but I actually quite like them. My little favorite in this genre was definitely Cut the Rope, the first one mind you. The sequels were okay, but not on the same level. Man, I spent so much time on that game, racking my brain so much to get 3 stars on every levels. Those really were the days. And to wrap up this category, I wanna talk about Little Alchemy. My god, that game was good. I truly felt like a freaking scientist playing it, finding all sorts of crazy combinations just to unlock mud or whatever. Nah, really, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, fasten your seatbelts, this part is just banger after bangers, straight burst of masterpieces. And what better way to represent that than... There we go, that is a mobile game that doesn't mess around. Everything was incredible, the solo mode, the multiplayer, the weapons were all iconic, same for the soundtrack, and don't even get me started on the maps. A total no-miss for me. In a different but equally epic style, how can I make a video on childhood mobile game without mentioning Hungry Shark? I have way too many hours in this game. I remember reaching the last shark with all the accessories and being fully maxed out. It was such a blast and so satisfying at the same time. And the worst part? The sequel, Hungry Shark World, was even better. Yes, I don't care what you think. More sharks, different maps, better graphics, it had everything. Now back to something a bit more chill but just as good, and honestly I don't have much to say about it. I didn't play it that much, but it kinda stuck with me anyway. But if I had to pick my favorite mobile game, it would easily be Geometry Dash. I was so in love with that game that I actually bought it. Twice. This guy stinks! I think you all know it, but I had to mention it at least to pay tribute to the musics. Anyway, I don't want this video to last 40 minutes, so here's a quick compilation of some other absolute bangers that deserve to be talked about. Finally, I want to talk about a few games, if you can even call them that stuck with me, but I didn't really know where to put them. First, there was this thing, Kick the Buddy. Nah, seriously, did anyone actually find it fun? There was also Talking Tom, which you probably know for this.
Hello?
Hello?
And I'll admit I spent way too many hours on it, but let's be real, it really sucked.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
We could also talk about those games where the goal was just to make pizzas. I don't know why, but I installed them, make 2 pizzas and then delete them, just to install another one later. Or do you remember those trash apps like Beer Drinking Simulator or Infrared Vision? But like, what is there even to say? I'd installed a crap ton of them, but come on, there's nothing to say about them. But if you want to talk about a weird game that was actually cool, there was Sandbox. Underrated game for sure. The interaction between the elements and the physics were so well done for a game of this caliber. But for me, the best weird mobile game of all time, the one I almost put with the bangers, was There Is No Game. It was completely meta and crazy, and as a kid I thought it was so clever and funny. Too bad that once you played it, there was zero reason to launch it again. And that's it for my recap of the mobile games that define our childhood. I'm sure I missed a few, so let me know in the comments which one I should have included. Maybe I'll make a part 2 if there's enough bangers left. Also, go watch my video on the games you need to play before you die. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.